This is the process to identify the climax and causes and effects that were changed in the movie Coco as a result of the climax. So the first thing you're going to do is you're going to watch the video clip of the climax of Coco. From there, you're going to start by identifying the climax in this sticky note right here in the form of a simple sentence. The climax is something that focuses on the feelings, the hunches, the gut instinct, and intuition. I'll give you a hint. In Coco, it's the biggest change, and it's also the biggest reality that Miguel finds out. So it's a feeling and a hunch about his connection with Hector. And so I want you to identify that once you see it in the form of a simple sentence. From there, go ahead and work on this. Go ahead and work on this graphic organizer in the following way. So you have the causes. So the first thing you're going to do over here is number one. So what is the context of the climax? Who, what, where, and why? Write these facts about the character's response. How did Miguel respond once he found out the information in the climax? Notice how I'm giving you a little bit of breadcrumbs here so that when you watch that video, you can stop it, pause it, and see exactly where it is. And then you write those facts about the character's response. When it happens, there are a lot of people around him and everybody is responding. So from there, you'll go back down here and then check back in with this to double check and be sure that this cause matches the climax. And the effect of that climax is what we're going to identify next, which is after Miguel finds out about this number one element, this detail, describe who and what was affected by it. And so he makes a very strong decision at this point to do something about it. And so describe what happened and who was there and how they were affected. You could use the signal phrase, this led to. So this led to Miguel doing something. It's a very pivotal action. From there, we'll come over here to number two, which is what is the reader missing? Write a very important detail about the character, about about either Hector or Miguel that we're missing. What they don't tell you about Miguel is, or what they don't tell you about Hector is, this prompts Miguel to do something very, very important. It's connected to a photo. And so I want to give you that breadcrumb. Go back to the climax to double check and make sure that those two fit, and then come back out here to to the green sticky note. When the narrator, or sorry, when Miguel learned about that detail, number two, how did he respond and for what reason and why? This is where we need to get that action. And so over here for number two, it's what didn't they tell you uh, about Miguel and his family that made it so important that this climax had to happen? And then what did he do about it? What did Miguel do about it? And then three, how did everyone else around Miguel respond to him doing this action that's right over here? So these two are connected. So if you want to think of this one, come back all the way over here, and that becomes your prompt. Once he did that action, and I'm not going to give you what that is, once he made that decision, did the action, he picks up something that's very important to the family. And how did everyone else around him respond to finding out that detail that was so important to the plot? So from number three, we come back in, check right in with the climax again. The climax never changes. And so we want to make sure that we're all in alignment with that. And then explain and describe the possible effects if the climax had never happened. In the movie Coco, this specific segment, it shows you what would have happened. He even says what would have happened if it would have never happened, if he would have never gone through his journey into the underworld, if he would have never found out the climax about Hector. What would it explain? Your job is to explain and describe the possible effects. Two effects and two explanations. Use these signal words to help you. So a great starter sentence would be since. So since Miguel found out about this climax right here, Then what did he do? How did it affect other people? And uh, how did it affect him as the main character? All right, and then last you go over here to number 4, and that's where we get into this last objective, which is predicting the possible effects and analyzing those effects. So why did the climax have to happen to Miguel? Why did he have to find out something really important about Hector in order for him to change? And then in this sentence frame, you could use once, blank, and so. So once Miguel found out about blank, then blank, so he blank. So we're always going to come back to this climax one more time and then think about it. What emotions does that climax bring out? What feeling, hunches, or gut instinct or intuition did it show? And then how did the climax ultimately change Miguel and his relationship to other people or events around him?